Still single? That's unbelievable. My daughter is both beautiful and a genius," said Dorothy, pushing Cynthia's back with a sneering laugh. Indeed, Cynthia has a beautiful face, much like Dorothy's glamorous features. However, it bothers me that she's forcing a smile and seems a bit frightened, glancing at Dorothy now and then. It's as if she's afraid of Dorothy. Thinking this, I was about to speak to Cynthia when, "Mom," I heard my beloved daughter's voice. "I'll introduce my child as well." Stephanie rushed over and hugged me with all her might. I patted my adorable daughter's head and looked at Dorothy. No way!" Dorothy, appearing shaken, pointed at Stephanie with trembling fingers. To that, I smiled brightly. "Yes, the popular child actress right now. Stephanie Smith." "What?" Dorothy screamed as if she had gone mad upon understanding my words. "What's going on with you two?" Then Andrew walked closer, to which Dorothy screamed even more. I struggled to contain my laughter at this scene. I am Jennifer Smith, a 35-year-old working mother. I've always been nurturing and can't rest until everything is decided properly. Planning my day in advance and sticking to it is my way of life. This habit led me to fall in love with theater after watching a play in middle school, and I joined the drama club in high school. Thanks to that time, I was able to obtain something invaluable. However, it also became the source of some bitter memories. Despite those, I've overcome them and now live a happy life. Don't overdo it. I could say the same to you. My husband, Andrew, understands me better than anyone else, as we are quite alike. Both of us getting absorbed in our work, reminding each other not to overdo it is our secret to a good relationship. Dad, Mom, can I ask something? Of course, dear. We let our daughter, Stephanie, do what she loves. We don't just spoil her, we reprimand her when necessary and make sure she doesn't neglect her studies. Allowing her to shine in her own way, Stephanie is our pride and joy. Supporting these two beloved people is my purpose in life. One day, I went to the local supermarket by myself. Since Andrew and Stephanie are both picky eaters, planning the menu is always a challenge. Trying to come up with a nutritionally balanced meal, I was so preoccupied that I didn't notice someone approaching me. "Jennifer? Is that you?" The woman calling out to me was waving with a smile. With her glamorous appearance and slightly saccharine way of speaking. "No way, Dorothy. It's been so long. Honestly, Jennifer, you're still so petite and childlike, I recognized you right away." This rude woman. Dorothy. She was my childhood friend, my former best friend, and the embodiment of my bitter memories. Dorothy lived nearby, so we went to the same schools from the childcare center through high school. Naturally, we became close and confided in each other about everything. "Dorothy, I got a boyfriend." "Really? Who? Tell me everything." We would report to each other immediately upon getting boyfriends or consult right away when we got dumped. That's how much I trusted Dorothy back then. That trust was shattered 13 years ago when Dorothy stole my fiancé. Before marrying Andrew, I was engaged to a man named George. "Weren't you in the drama club?" Oh, George. Reuniting with a friend from the drama club in college, we hit it off and got engaged to marry after graduation, even having a family meeting. And then, I introduced him to Dorothy. Not that I was neglecting Dorothy, but we went to different universities, so it was hard to find time. "Dorothy, I want you to meet him. This is my fiancé, George." George, right? Yes, we got together because we were in the same drama club. Wow! George is as handsome as ever. George was handsome, and Dorothy always said, "He's so cool. I'm so jealous." I thought it was just her usual joking around. But those expectations were betrayed. "I'm pregnant with George's child." "What?" "Dorothy stole my fiancé." After being introduced by me, it seems Dorothy got George's contact information while I was away and secretly went on dates with him. And then, she snatched him away from me. I was so shocked that I couldn't even think about compensation. We just broke up. Dorothy's parents apologized to me. They paid the compensation on behalf of Dorothy and kept apologizing to me. Contrary to such parents, Dorothy and George never apologized and disappeared from our lives. And now, Dorothy is standing before me. Her parents were spoken ill of by the neighbors because of her. The two were looking for Dorothy, but she dropped out of college and disappeared with George. "Where have you been all this time? Do you know how much your parents have been looking for you?" "Who knows? More importantly, to think I'd find you after moving here." I felt nothing but disgust for her, smiling at me. For such a person, Dorothy's kind parents had apologized. "I have nothing to say to you." Jennifer." I ended the conversation forcefully and quickly walked away from her. Now that I can say it, she made me feel terrible in the past. Dorothy was always the opposite of me. Who was responsible? She was sloppy. Being late to meetups was the norm. She often forgot things and ended up borrowing mine, so it felt like we were sharing everything. I found out later that the reason I got dumped by a boyfriend during my student days was apparently because of Dorothy. She had lied to my boyfriend, causing us to break up, and then she took him from me. To think she was my best friend. "Jennifer? What's wrong?" "Mom? Are you feeling ill?" Andrew's voice brought me back to reality. It seems I had returned home without realizing it and was sitting on the sofa with Andrew and Stephanie looking at me worriedly. Sorry. I'm fine." "Don't overdo it. Mom, you're a hard worker." Encouraged by the two of them, I felt much better, but still, Dorothy's presence troubled me. Sigh. Something did happen, didn't it? After Stephanie went to bed, Andrew spoke to me again. When I told Andrew about meeting Dorothy, he looked displeased. Andrew had also been a victim of Dorothy before. Andrew was a friend from the drama club. Back then, Andrew wore long bangs and glasses, and Dorothy called him the plain guy with glasses, making him do her bidding behind the scenes. "From what you saw, did she seem remorseful?" "Not at all. Even when I mentioned her parents, she was like, more importantly." Sounds like she hasn't changed." The sight of Dorothy's parents apologizing while crying has always stayed with me. They looked completely worn out because they had to pay the compensation. Moreover, Dorothy's mother had collapsed from overwork due to the stress and compensation for what Dorothy did. Now, my mom is helping to take care of Dorothy's mother, who is in the hospital. Meeting Dorothy now seems like it would only cause trouble. Yeah. While I was troubled, Andrew seemed to be plotting something. Thanks to being cautious, I hadn't run into Dorothy since then. Then, when I was alone in the park. Jennifer! Dorothy. Dorothy was holding a girl's arm, walking towards me. The girl was wearing the uniform of a well-known private girls' middle school in the area. She's beautiful, isn't she? This girl, she's my and George's daughter. The child who was in my belly back then. Is that so? The daughter of George, the pregnancy was real back then. Thinking this, I looked at the daughter. I'm Jennifer. And you are? I'm Cynthia. Nice to meet you. Saying this, Cynthia bowed her head, showing a mature, beautiful smile unlike a child's. Rather, it's a smile that's too pretty, causing a sense of discomfort. As you can see, Cynthia isn't just beautiful, she's also smart enough to attend that famous middle school. It seems so. And? What about your child? Oh, but being alone in the park means you're still single, right? Well, that figures. A beauty like me is one thing, but with a face like yours, that's none of her business. Indeed, I may not have the glamour of Dorothy, but my wonderful husband and adorable daughter call my face cute. Still single? That's unbelievable. My daughter is both beautiful and a genius, said Dorothy, pushing Cynthia's back with a sneering laugh. Indeed, Cynthia has a beautiful face, much like Dorothy's glamorous features. However, it bothers me that she's forcing a smile and seems a bit frightened, glancing at Dorothy now and then. It's as if she's afraid of Dorothy. Thinking this, I was about to speak to Cynthia when, "Mom!" I heard my beloved daughter's voice. "I'll introduce my child as well." Stephanie rushed over and hugged me with all her might. I patted my adorable daughter's head and looked at Dorothy. No way!" Dorothy, appearing shaken, pointed at Stephanie with trembling fingers. To that, I smiled brightly. "Yes, the popular child actress right now. Stephanie Smith." "What?" Dorothy screamed as if she had gone mad upon understanding my words. "What's going on with you two?" Then Andrew walked closer, to which Dorothy screamed even more. I struggled to contain my laughter at this scene. "Andrew! The popular actor Andrew Smith!" "Correct. And I'm Jennifer Smith, Stephanie's manager." I introduced myself too, but Dorothy seemed not to have caught that. She just stared at Andrew and Stephanie. Next to Dorothy, Cynthia still wore a smile that was too pretty. "Popular, you say?" "Because I've been a fan of Andrew since I saw him on stage." "Thank you." "Hey, Dorothy. Haven't you noticed anything?" At my words, Dorothy looked puzzled. At that, Andrew and I smiled broadly. "It's been a long time, hasn't it, Dorothy?" He's Andrew Smith, a friend from the drama club." "Yeah." Dorothy again let out a loud exclamation. At that, Andrew burst out laughing. "Hey, Andrew." I was trying to hold it in. Sorry. "The Smith from the drama club, that plain guy with glasses." "Because you said that, I made an effort." Andrew explained how he was ridiculed by Dorothy, which motivated him to polish his appearance after we graduated. He cut his bangs, groomed himself properly, cared for his skin with men's cosmetics, and switched from glasses to contact lenses, drastically changing his appearance from that time. Thanks to that, I've gone from dreaming of being a stage actor to appearing on TV. In a way, I owe it to you. No way, that plain guy with glasses is the popular actor Andrew? Dorothy muttered under her breath and looked at me. I was slightly taken aback by her furious expression. What is he doing with you? Even if you're friends, why did Jennifer marry a popular actor? Well, I've had a crush on Jennifer since high school. During high school, while being exploited by Dorothy, it seems no one else would help him. Dorothy was good at winning people over, so most club members believed her words. Others were either smitten with Dorothy or complied to avoid being lied to. In that context, I was the only one helping him. Come on, Dorothy. Do your own part. If you're going to say it's because he's a junior, show some seniority. I had scolded Dorothy without realizing her true nature. In addition to helping him. Andrew, you're really good at acting even in 9th grade. You should try being the protagonist next time. I think you can charm the whole school. It was after I praised his acting that he started to like me. After I went to college, he heard rumors of my engagement and gave up once, focusing on his acting training, until one day, he heard that my fiancé had been stolen. Unable to stay still any longer, Andrew came to me and poured out his long-held feelings. Mentally weakened, I nodded to his words and we started dating. Then, as he began to gain fame, he proposed, and we got married, resulting in the birth of Stephanie. Stephanie, resembling her father, chose the same path as Andrew on her own. Stephanie's strengths are her inherited acting skills from her father and her observational abilities. Why are you forcing a smile? Eh? Your smile is pretty, but it seems a bit off. You don't really want to smile, do you? Cynthia was initially surprised when Stephanie said that. However, when Stephanie took Cynthia's hand. Wait, Cynthia! Tears started falling from Cynthia's eyes. Mom, do you have a handkerchief? Yes, wait. After receiving a handkerchief from me, Stephanie gently wiped Cynthia's tears, causing more to flow. Why are you crying? Stop crying. I'm sorry. Don't yell at her. Dorothy yelled at Cynthia, who was apologizing through tears. Stephanie then hugged Cynthia as if to protect her. Why are you crying? You were supposed to become a popular child actress, appear on TV as a beautiful mother-daughter duo. That's why I stole George with his good looks from Jennifer. What do you think I gave birth to you for? Stop it. Seeing Dorothy about to strike, I hugged Stephanie and Cynthia. Enough already. Then, Andrew grabbed Dorothy's hand. I glared at Dorothy while holding the trembling pair in my arms. Dorothy! Hurting your daughter, you're unfit to be a parent. Shut up! Always acting high and mighty, Jennifer. I've always disliked you. Not pretty yet more popular than me. You should just stay as my caretaker. Don't be ridiculous. Don't insult the woman I love. Shut up! Shut up! Just a plain guy with glasses. Former, that. And it's over now. With that, Andrew pointed behind him. There were people pointing their mobile phone cameras at Dorothy. Originally, fans had gathered in the park to see Andrew and Stephanie, who were set to co-star in a drama, capturing the popular actor duo. The crowd had dispersed after filming, but Dorothy's outburst attracted attention again. From the crowd, comments like, "What's that? That's terrible. A toxic parent?" could be heard. Everything's been recorded. No way. Dorothy collapsed on the spot. After looking at Dorothy, I let go of Stephanie and Cynthia. It's okay now. I've never been hugged like this before. I hugged Cynthia again. Stephanie held Cynthia's hand, and Andrew hugged us all together. Then, Dorothy's actions spread rapidly. Someone at the scene had posted it on social media. Dorothy became known as the woman who tried to hit her daughter, a snatch thief, and eventually, it made the news. Did you plan this from the start? That situation was definitely not planned. But I intended to confront her someday. Andrew had hired a detective to investigate Dorothy. He found out where she lived and her social circle, informing Dorothy's father. We thought if we all showed up, her flaws would be exposed. If we could record it, we'd have her, but things escalated beyond expectation. Andrew said with a laugh. I smiled wryly, knowing he had been planning this since he had that plotting look after hearing about Dorothy. When he had exchanged contact information with Dorothy's father was anyone's guess. Thanks to him, Dorothy's father found her location and confronted her. Being well known in the area, Dorothy couldn't escape and was easily caught. Turns out, she had divorced George. Oh, really? So she's a single mother now. That's karma. A housewife who got kicked out for not doing any housework. According to the detective's investigation and Dorothy's father, Dorothy had made George work while she spent her days playing. George had kicked Dorothy out, but she managed to fake evidence of his infidelity, securing both child custody and alimony. And it seems Dorothy was misusing the child support money. She hadn't laid hands on Cynthia but would blame her for not passing auditions. She had enrolled Cynthia in a prestigious private middle school for appearances, deciding without considering Cynthia's wishes. The reason Cynthia failed auditions must be because of that forced smile. She can't smile naturally anymore, which ultimately lowered her value, all thanks to Dorothy herself. Cynthia then came to stay with us temporarily, to be away from Dorothy. With Dorothy's mother still hospitalized and her father having much to discuss with Dorothy, and George being a plane ride away. Cynthia, will you help me with my studies? Sure, I'd love to. Stephanie became very fond of Cynthia, who was kind to Stephanie for trying to protect her. You're really smart, Cynthia. I like studying. I want to become a lawyer, not a celebrity. Is that so? I support you. Thank you. Cynthia smiled faintly, hoping someday she would be able to smile genuinely. Cynthia was truly a good child, immediately studying after coming home from school and helping out with chores in between. Such a child being pushed to the edge. My history with Dorothy as childhood friends turned into a dark chapter. It shouldn't have been this bad in the past. It seems you didn't notice, but you've always been popular. People approached you for your looks, but they stayed for your dependable nature, Jennifer. Mom is kinda oblivious, huh? Indeed. While thinking about Dorothy, Stephanie and Andrew discussed this. Ultimately, Cynthia became our daughter. Dorothy faced a lawsuit from George for misusing the child support. She had to repay the child support and also the compensation money her parents had advanced, leading her to debt. Becoming infamous in a bad way, Dorothy couldn't find employment anywhere and ended up borrowing from shady sources, eventually being taken away, as rumors say. Meanwhile, George, who already had a new family, considered taking Cynthia back. However, Cynthia herself, I don't remember much about Dad since we separated before I started elementary school. And I don't want to change middle schools. Given that, George gave up on taking Cynthia back. He also apologized to me properly. I'm truly sorry. Dorothy had convinced me you were a terrible woman. Dorothy seems to have been lying to George as well. Dorothy had filled George with lies. Jennifer has always taken everything from me. Gradually, he grew distrustful and switched from me to her. Though it felt like an excuse, I decided to forgive him since he promised to stay out of our lives, and returned the misused child support as compensation. Dorothy's mother, hearing about the incident, I need to get my act together. I feel like I'm starting to recover little by little. And she is slowly recovering, looking forward to visiting Cynthia as grandparents with Dorothy's father. And Dorothy's father again apologized for the trouble caused and asked me to take care of Cynthia, wishing he could have taken her in but being unable due to financial constraints. Excuse me, is this bothering you? Not at all. I'm happy to have another cute daughter. I'm happy to have a sister too. To think I have two such adorable daughters, I'm a lucky guy. At our words, Cynthia smiled softly. Since then, Cynthia has gradually started to smile more, and now she wears a full smile. Mom, there's a high school I want to go to. Really? Tell me about it. Even amidst a busy schedule, time is made to listen properly. With Cynthia's current radiant smile, she might become a popular actress in no time. But it's all about respecting Cynthia's wishes. I want to be a lawyer after all, to help people in trouble, just like you and Mom protected me. That's Cynthia's dream, and I intend to support it. Meanwhile, things are going well for Andrew and Stephanie too. It seems their act of protecting Cynthia has contributed to their growing popularity. It's a moment for me as a manager to shine. However, with popularity comes more trouble. Mom, I'll help out too, especially with anything legal. Thank you, Cynthia. But no matter what troubles come, we'll be okay. As long as our family works together, we can overcome anything. I'm home. Cynthia, I got some sweets from the staff today. Let's eat them together. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm home, Jennifer, Cynthia. Welcome back, both of you. For my beloved family, I'll continue to give my full support today as well.